Sup, Kumph-E, which is me, Kumph-E, and today we are going to be talking about the final four teams in the NFL playoffs and who I think is going to come out of each side. If you like this video, press the subscribe button, press the post notification notified every time I upload a video. Check out my Kumph-E clothes, it's going to be in the description below. Go buy yourself a shirt. That's about it. Let's get into the video. So, this is a weird group of teams that are left in the final four. If you were to tell me that the final four teams in this year's playoffs was going to be in these teams, Rams, Seahawks from the NFC. Rams makes sense, but Seahawks, what the fuck? And in the AFC, Broncos and Patriots at all, I would think you were crazy. I would think you were actually insane. Because who would think the Broncos and Patriots would come out would be in the two teams in the AFC, and the Rams and Seahawks would be in the NFC? Nobody would believe that. So this is crazy on its own. Now the main question that everyone's asking: who will be the two teams going to the Super Bowl? And why are those two teams going to be the ones going to the Super Bowl? What's the reasons why? Who do I think will be the teams going to the Super Bowl? Well, before we get there, let's talk about all four teams. Starting off with the AFC, let's start with the Patriots. The Patriots have the possible MVP in Drake May as the quarterback. A very well-coached defense, a very well-coached offense as well. One of the best coaches in the league already with Mike Vrabel. Just outright a very well-built team all around. And they're still not as good as they possibly can get. This is probably the worst their offense is going to be talent-wise that we're probably going to see for a while, at least in the Drake May era. And they already are in this position and could very well win the Super Bowl this year. The Patriots right now has such a quick rebuild, unbelievably quick. They just needed one quarterback and a coach change, and all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl contender. They are back to the dominance the Patriots were with Brady, and they just got Brady 2.0, except who he can run and all that. But yeah, this is terrifying. The Patriots, unbelievably good football team, and the team they're facing is the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos, good defense, okay offense when on certain days. The problem, and also obviously well coached, Sean Payton, and good special teams. The problem with Denver is the quarterback position. And if you were in a coma for the last 2 weeks, you think, no, Bo Nix is really good, and I agree. But the problem is Bo Nix isn't going to be playing. Like I said already, and like everyone knows already, Bo Nix is out with an injury. He's going to be out for the rest of the playoff. So they have Jarrett Stidham as the starting QB in this game, and that alone is a ginormous dent in the Denver Broncos' ability to win this game. Now, what's good about the Denver Broncos? Their defense is well coached. Obviously, we all know that. So much talent. And almost no other team in the league can get to the quarterback like Denver does. They have a bunch of top-tier pass rushers on that defense. They have the best cornerback in the league, arguably, in Pat Surtain. And they have just all around a good secondary. Now, the problem is recently they've been getting gashed. They got gashed like crazy against Buffalo, and the offense honestly won them that game. The offense was able to move the ball, and they were able to score when needed to. But the problem is they don't have Bo Nix anymore. So they have Jarrett Stidham now. Now he has to have a revenge game of a lifetime against the New England Patriots, the team that drafted him. That's a fun little story, but that's a ginormous disadvantage for Denver against New England. And everyone knew that they were in big trouble once the news of Bo Nix getting hurt was out there, like 30 minutes after the Broncos won the game. So that's already a ginormous disadvantage for Denver. And this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Weirdly enough, I can somehow see Denver winning this off bullshit and overall defense. But the problem is just that alone, just that whole thing on itself is a terrible disadvantage to have if you're Denver, and is an absolute gut buster for Denver in that game. We're going to get into who I think is going to win after I talk about the NFC. Now, the NFC has, let's start with the LA Rams, the visiting team. Now, the Rams have another MVP, probably the MVP favorite right now in Matt Stafford. They have arguably the best wide receiver duo in the entire league. A very good defense when they want to actually show up and play defense. Good running game, good O-line, good kicker, the thicker kicker, and they just have everything they have is good. They have one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best coach in the league, is Sean McVay. Just unbelievable position there for the Rams. Now, with the Rams, the problem is these last two playoff games, at least offensively last week, they were a little iffy. Defensively against the Panthers, they were terrible. And they've been shown a lot of holes and losing against teams they should not lose to. They have been playing bad against teams they shouldn't be playing bad against. The last game against Seattle, they blew a ginormous lead late in the game against them, completely blowing it and blowing their chance at the first seed just off that alone. an absolute horror. They've not been looking consistent at all throughout these last group of games, and even in the playoffs, they've not looked consistent. They look better defensively against the Bears, but even then, offensively, they just show up against not a defense that's not even that good in Chicago. Let's talk about Seattle a little bit. Seattle has a good quarterback in Sam Darnold. That's the disadvantage Seattle has, and that's the only disadvantage Seattle has. They have a better running game. They have, you can argue, better receiver one in Jackson Smith and Jigba. Good tight ends, good O-line, a great coach, another one of the best coaches in the league, and they have a better defense all around, too. Seattle is just unbelievably good. They're very dangerous. Roster-wise, they have one of the best rosters in the league, and they've just been unbelievably hot right now. And I think they outdo the Rams on everything but quarterback. And it's just clear as day. Now, could that be the reason the Rams win because they have a worse quarterback than them? Sure, that could. Maybe Sam Darnold throws some untimely picks. Maybe he fumbles the ball a few times. He has showed he's not opposed of doing that. But the thing is, can the Rams offense score consistently against this defense when they couldn't do it against the Bears, who have a way worse defense than the Seahawks do? I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Who do I think is going to win each of these games? Starting off with the NFC. I have Seattle beating the Rams in a very hard-fought game, going to the Super Bowl and trying to get their second Super Bowl in their franchise history. I just think Seattle, like I said, has a better offense overall. I think the coaching is not too far behind right now, and I think the defense is noticeably better right now than LA has. I think Seattle is just the hottest team in the league right now, and it's not even really particularly close. And I just think they are going to be dominant in this game like they have been the last 5 games. They're just going to go in and they're going to play tough, play hard. I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't see a world where there's a blowout in this game. And I think Seattle's going to come out on top, possibly with a last-second field goal. Now, moving on to the AFC. This one's actually harder for me, weirdly enough, than it is from the NFC, because I could totally see the Broncos somehow pulling out a win for no reason. The Patriots have shown cases where they underperformed a little bit against worse teams. Again, some of the teams they lost to is the Steelers and the Raiders, and they had that one loss against the Bills, where they blew a pretty substantial lead. Now, do I think the Broncos will win? No, I don't. I have the Patriots winning the game in a closer game than expected, but I have them winning against Denver, going to the Super Bowl, and we get another rematch of Seattle versus New England for the second time ever. The last time they did it, it was quite amazing. Let's see if we get another amazing game in this one. But give me New England versus Seattle for Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. Anyway, if you agree with my takes, if you agree with my opinions, if you don't, put it in the comments below also. That's about it. All my social medias, all my other stuff will be in the description below if you want to check that out. Anyway, that's about it. Go football, go NFL. I cannot believe it's almost over. That's about it. See you, Kumph Ramblers.